You're just in time. But be ready to run. Three, two, one.
This won't hold it for long. Find Neuvillette. Tell him the defenses are about to collapse.
Then what will happen to you?
Until he arrives, we're the last line of defense. The gate. How long do you think it'll hold?
That depends on us.
Neuvillette? Why are you here?
Traveler, I need you to head to the opera. Farina will soon be meeting with the knave there. You must protect Farina and make sure she will do.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Look! There are a ton of Fatilian... Are you two the Traveler in Paimon? Though I'm sure he's already explained this should be a...
Oh, so you two are the honored guests.
Of course, of course! How could they not attend a meeting such as this?
It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance, traveler. I have heard much of your accomplishments.
I've already prepared seats for you.
Perhaps you two are unaware of how Miss Farina and I do things. You see, we actually recently agreed to get together for... See this? This is a limited type of confectionery that Miss Farina simply adores. There are only 6...
Traveler, what do you think of this cake?
That's good to hear. So what Child said was on the mark after all. I wonder how he's doing nowadays. You must have heard, right? He's suddenly gone missing. I'm really worried about...
Since we're talking about him, I feel like I should add something. His martial prowess really...
Oh, so you're also familiar with his aptitude for fighting, Miss Farina. Oh, right. I almost forgot. Child was subdued by Udex Neuvillette right in front. Against ordinary people, my colleague would never be on the back foot. But alas, he just never imagined he'd run into such a person. Coming from you, that's not...
But I thought you would be happier to hear the news.
Of course, but it's still a bit of a shame. You see, I would have been far happier had I received this news somewhat earlier.
Well, in any case, there's no need to worry. We know for sure that child is still alive.
Oh. And just how do you know that?
Because,
And where did he go after leaving the fortress?
well...
The fortress of Meripede lies deep beneath the waves. Unless he pranced right out of the main gate, he must have had... Ah, that is good news at least. His sister Tonya sent a letter to Fontaine not too long ago. Since he was Do you have any idea how he usually writes back to his family? Dear Tonya, your letter made me feel like we were still enjoying our time in Snezhnaya together. I'm current...
All letters tend to follow the same few formats anyway, right? As long as...
Hold on. The water...
I suppose this is also a sign of things to come.
I don't quite understand.
Have we entered into the next stage of the prophecy?
My thanks to you both. I will take it from here.
Sure you don't need a hand?
Quite sure.
Wow. So, what's your secret, huh? Let me guess. Nah, who knows? Maybe it's just your sense of responsibility.
Sounds about right.
Day may come when the prophecy is fulfilled and the waters burst forth. But it is not this day! This ancient power could easily obliterate an entire race. A tsunami of fury would unleash endless catastrophe. This sentence is too severe. Forgive me for overruling it.
All right. Seems like the problem inside is...
Let me guess. We're safe for...
Indeed.
I win this bet.
Very well. It wasn't...
You made a bet?
We made a bet on the size of your entourage.
I figured you would have at least brought a few people along for appearance's sake.
Shouldn't you have gotten used to confidential missions by now?
So what gift must the loser give?
He already has tons of tea and...
That wouldn't happen to be a dig at my lack of legal awareness.
Well, I'm sure His Grace doesn't consider the fortress...
I was under the impression the residents of a place like this would...
That was... Anyway, you've still got some...
No need to stay here if you have a pressing matter. We all...
Thank you. I hope everything went smoothly with the...
I must say, Miss Farina, As the Hydro Archon, I am sure you understand the exact meaning of the phenomenon we just witnessed.
What are you trying to say?
At this point, I don't think there's any more need to speak as diplomatic representatives. Allow me to speak to you yet. Here you are, relaxing, drinking tea, and eating dessert. The prophecy's hanging above our necks like a guillotine. Every faction is looking for a way to either avert the disaster or save their own. Even the orphans of the House of the Hearth have But you? It beggars belief just how nonchalant and carefree you have been. From the very beginning, you, the god Focalor.
You're wrong. I've never ignored the prophecy, nor have I just been passing the time in self-indulgence. Retract your accusation and stop doubting the wisdom of the gods with
I am not alone in my doubts, you know. All the children of Fontaine may be harboring the exact same thoughts, right? Oh, great Hydro Archon. How are you going to save them? Save us? How are the
I have my ways, and I've been working on them for all this time. Fontaine will be saved. Even if I still cannot see the true future right now.
Then I ask you, Miss Farina, just what have you been working on?
My machinations are just like the prophecy itself.
I see. As a god, the proof of your labor always lies beyond prying. Allow me to be so bold as to ask another way. Would it be possible for you to tell us the parts of your plan that are not confidential? Such
An emergency.
Oh, that look in your eyes.
The emergency response plan.
Then allow me to jog your memory. Miss Farina, what is the purpose of your Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal? And what do you plan to do with the massive amounts of indemnitium that has accumulated over the year?
The Oratrice? It's just like it appears to.
So you also have no idea. I first caught wind of this when Linny tried to investigate the Oratrice in the Opera House. You see, even just getting close to the core contaminated him with it. But even if that had nothing to do with you, then what could you possibly be working on, oh great Hydro Arc? Oh, right. I almost forgot. Udex Neuvillette is not at the tea party with us today. Miss Farina.
Yeah, yes, that's exactly.
Of course I will. Although, I must say, Miss Farina, you seem quite insecure without the Udex by your side. Oh, very well. Let's stop that conversation here. There are still a few slices of cake left, so please. Traveler, I heard that you were recently commissioned to handle a few matters on behalf of the You too, Paimon.
Thank you. Paimon will take... Oh, Paimon...
If it's on.
You're welcome. I'm sure the cake also felt greatly honored to be featured at Miss... It is getting late. Why don't we call it a day? There are still a few matters.
Very well. We'll.
Mind seeing me off, Traveler. We could use the opportunity to discuss Child before I must be on my way.
Paimon's coming too!
I'm glad that you were willing to come with me. Of Of course, child was just an excuse. I have no interest in your dealings with him.
That's what Paimon thought.
You lent your aid to the children of the House of the Hearth. As their father, I would like to express my gratitude. Do I look like an irresponsible father to you? The House of the Hearth is very important to me. That was all. Formal topics should be discussed in formal settings, and I know you just returned from the fortress of Meripede. Relax. I have no intention of trying to get any—
They've all been working very hard and have always done all they can to fight back against anyone who tried to stop them.
You mean Wriothesley. He's a tricky one to deal with. It's unfortunate that Linny's so eager to— By the way, and you can just consider this a bit of idle gossip, but what's your impression of Furina? You are outside of our disputes, and the freest person in all of Fontaine, able to move around most easily.
And that's everything that happened during the trial. Master Child was declared guilty and immediately transported to the fortress of—
Didn't he say he was coming here on vacation? Does he not feel it? Forget it. He did give us an up. I will be meeting someone short.
Do you require help with any prep—
No need. I need to meet with Furina, the Hydro Archon. She—
Oh? Come over here, you little critter, you! You dare to run from me?
My goal is just to discover the location of the Gnosis. But I didn't expect the chance to approach Furina to be handed to me on a silver platter. Anything left unguarded is usually just bait. But no one will blame someone for taking the bait. It's just as I guessed in the second before I struck. The Hydronosis is not currently held by the Archon. In fact, this Archon doesn't seem like a god at all.
Who are you? And what are you?
The fear in her pupils is genuine, so perhaps she's not bait after all. I left the scene with ease. Nobody came looking for me, and nobody could serve as a witness to my— Not long after, my informants confirmed what I had guessed. After returning to her quarters, Furina quietly cried alone. There's no doubt that there's something wrong with her. I began to entertain the possibility that she is not the true Hydro Archon. I have to find the Gnosis. If the Neuvillette hypothesis is correct, he is probably
Yes, Father.
My dear children.
News from the fortress of Meripede. Master...
Probably the handiwork of that ride.
I'm afraid so.
This is a good opportunity. The value of a harbinger is much higher than most would imagine. We now have an excuse. Set up a meeting for me.
Yes, Father.
Tartaglia's disappearance was not a part of my plan, but I can use it to make a break. The initiative belongs to the House of the Hearth. You should know the rest. Lenny's group is quite close to you, so—
You attacked—
It wouldn't mean anything, even if you shouted it from the rooftops. After all, even Furina herself is still pretending that nothing of that sort ever happened. I've now had 2 chances to enjoy tea with Furina. I have to say, the leadership of Fontaine is even more inscrutable than I had imagined. I once surmised that Iudex Neuvillette must be the Hydro Archon, but now, I am a servant of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa. Over my years of service, I've learned how a real Archon conducts and carries themselves. Whether Iudex Neuvillette— Of course, that is all just how I feel. It is, however, quite amusing to me that after all my years, don't you think Fontaine is quite intriguing? Ultimately, though, one must survive. You don't need to commit to anything right now, of course. I have a feeling that the situation will continue to evolve, and as your name is often connected with noble deeds, I'm sure we will work together someday. He certainly returned quickly. You must want to catch up with each other.
Neuvillette?
For now, yes. But this issue will prove quite thorny in the long term. Thank you for protecting Furina. To put it simply, I used my power to force back the primordial sea and reseal the sluice gate. So as expected, the knave has turned up the pressure on Furina. Permission granted.
Whoa. It can't be that you're the real Hydro Archon, right? You can't tell us? Then...
If by the phrase, you guys, you are referring to Furina and I, then although I'm not sure just what you are trying to imply, I must clarify that I do not share her positions on a multitude of topics. I believe so. The fortress has a long... And now, another catastrophe will soon be upon us.
Huh?
You may be closer to the truth than you think.
Oh? And what are you thinking? The dragon of... huh?
Please do not be so surprised. Furina? My...
We were just guessing randomly. We didn't guess right, did we? You're not actually...
You guessed correctly. I sincerely hope you'll be able to keep this a secret for me.
Right, of course. We'll definitely help you keep... There's still something...
Please, go ahead.
Well, if you are the Dragon Sovereign of Water, and you were able to force back the primordial... Then since Fontaine's prophecy is all about seawater, couldn't you just use...
None of the currently living dragon sovereigns in the world, myself included, possess our full dragonhood. They say that when the first usurper arrived on Tivat, they seized a part of the dragon's power. Today, that stolen power is the basis of the Archon's authorities.
There are 7 elemental Archons and 7 matching Dragon Sovereigns.
The dragon sovereign of water who lived through that era perished a long time ago. As their successor, I know far less of that part of our ancient history. In any case, I believe I will not be able to do much unless the Archon disappears and returns their elemental authority to me. Given the status quo, however, I would recommend finding another way to deal with the prophecy.
Oh, so even you can't solve...
I still have some urgent matters to attend to at my office. If you have any more questions...
Please go right ahead. There's a place that Paimon wants to go too. Traveler, why don't we... We'll see you another time.
Take care.
Now guess, what suit will this...
Well, look who it is.
Traveler, Paimon!
Hello, everyone.
Looks like you're recovering nicely from it, eh?
Thanks to everyone's support. Oh, right. I managed to work up the courage to thank Miss Clorand in person.
Whoa, how did she react?
She told me that it was nothing. It was as if saving a life wasn't a big deal to her at all. She also...
She didn't want to stress you out, that's all.
Yeah.
Okay, but check this out. We went...
You meant father?
She said a few things that were, a bit hard to understand.
Her attitude towards you is even better than what we'd imagined. You should believe her. She has her own way of doing things, and she'll do
Father is very.
Oh, Paimon just remembered that she thought Lenny was a bit too proud as well.
That does.
Hey! Are you going to stay here?
Looks like it.
Excellent.
For real? Then
Another implies that you were already served some delicious cake while you were up there. Well, next time, you.
Traveler! Pipe, are you still doing alright? We're fine, but with a few people sustained superficial. Oh, of course. How did Nervalet know? Miss sure Nervalet has strong resonance with the hydro element. When the water level rises, I ran into the bombshell bros while bandaging the. If you're not too pressed for. Just let me know if you. I'd like to take the.
Take it easy.
You guys are back.
You guys didn't get caught.
And here I thought.
All right.
Hey, it wasn't.
I was also transferred to work in the kitchen. Whenever he'd say that, I'd.
Hey, there's nothing.
These two. They sure are a lot warmer and friendly.
Oh, well, if you say so. I'll be.
Take it easy.
Jurier?
Yeah,
That's no excuse for.
Junior, Lurvine, we're back.
hello there. It's been quite the...
And you? Are you?
Yep.
It can be a bit annoying.
I mean, the infirmary.
Oh, yeah?
You two really are.
Not at all!
Take it easy.
Do my eyes deceive me, or did I just see two inmates come back after making it to the surface? Some strange winds.
We wanted to see how the fortress is doing.
We're fine, for the most part. Neuvillette came.
If that's the case, why don't you just ask him to stay here?
Oh, yeah, what a brilliant plan. Let's go convince the Udex himself to exchange the Courts of Fontaine for a puddle of water in the middle of nowhere. He came here in a hurry and left without even stopping for a cup of tea. He did remember to take Miss Sigewinne's gift with him, though.
He sure sounds
Miss Cloran has left as well. She also took her gift from Miss...
Were the gifts milkshake?
Neuvillette got the milkshake. Clorand received lipstick instead.
Those aren't even remotely alike.
Well, it's Neuvillette's own fault for making Sigewinne worried about his health by working so much. But besides that... Oh, and I have some gifts here.
Are these from Sigewinne?
Nope. They're from yours truly. You've already wrapped up your work at the fortress, so you can return to the surface at any time. You haven't yet served your full prison term, however, so you may continue to use your cell until your term is up.
For real? Then we could stay.
You may access the... Just remember to come complete your paperwork once it's time for your...
We're back in our cell again. We're not. Beep. Huh? How did you know? Hey, it's like there are so many bad things in. You're counting Paimon today? Then let's ask Catherine to give Paimon an adventurer handbook as well. The last time we fell asleep here, we should be safe now. All right then. Good night to you, traveler. Wait a sec. Oh, today's our big day!
Please, sign here.
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. Huh?
What's happening? I'm fine.
Let's go ask the Duke. Your Grace?
Ah, good to see you two.
Yeah, what was with that earthquake just—
That. The tremor didn't. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I have developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs.
So the fort—
If you recall.
Huh. Wait, seriously?
Yes.
Yep. It's you two. That's right. Today is our last day in prison. But now that— oh yeah, then be sure to come—
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go.
You're not going to see us—
I knew you'd ask.
Well, you actually—
So you.
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like— Yeah, don't worry, we'll come back to see you.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best to— Well, it seems our work in the Fortress of Mirabine is finished. We should probably go report to him. You're going to see Monsieur Nervillette?
I'm sure just your regards will do, no?
I believe—
You're right. I've heard the Palais has been terribly.
Take it easy.
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today. Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two. Apology.
Excuse me. Would you mind?
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got... Everyone's so busy. Neuvillette!
Hello. You've come at the... In the meantime, please, have a seat.
That's all right.
Very well.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish.
All right.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the fortress of...
That's right, and we came... Do you have any idea what that might...
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary waters. But a whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat. Therefore, we could...
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not completely sure how he could have gotten there myself. Yes? What is it?
We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater, so we...
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After
The water levels rose?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time, and if the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater...
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go...
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to...
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
What happened here? Navia should be around here.
Take it easy.
We haven't seen a single soul all the way here.
What will I ever do now?
Look, there's someone...
Just stay put! We're coming up! Watch your balance!
He looks pretty sad.
My leg! How could this have happened?
Just hang in there. Help is...
Oh, it's Navia. She's over there. Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation.
Yes.
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to...
He's wounded?
He fell, so it's probably a...
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him...
Understood.
All right.
Right. A little earlier, we suddenly heard the rushing water seemed everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water. Those who realized the Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible. But the water that no one knows if this could happen again.
How awful.
It was quite frightening indeed.
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being...
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
Sorry. I need to go for now.
And out she goes!
Okay. The wounded... Of course, we should remain ready for anything. Traveler, Paimon?
Huh? Right now?
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day...
Right. That's...
Navia? Navia, what...
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver...
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but they were helping evacuate the residents. I've known them for so long. I could at least hold a funeral for my father. And I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver...
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that...
I can understand.
See, it's not just me.
How could Master... Yet the cemetery...
Buying yourself a plot in it?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master
Hey!
I'm quite serious. That way...
That makes sense. In that case...
After all, besides you, Demoiselle, the two of us...
Personally?
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. But I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess.
Paimon doesn't know how to...
I had always thought I could make my wishes come true. Malus and Silver have helped. I'm so sorry.
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia.
By the way, you can have a look at this.
Obena... So...
It's okay. The overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Malus and Silver were not the...
You're right. What you said just now was...
Oh!
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
The knave?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes. My people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of... As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of.
Thank you. Very...
Wait. Do you...
We just met recently. Right.
Usually, I would call this a coincidental encounter. But thanks to the knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui, which allowed us to complete the rescue.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations. I hear...
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend... Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. Without your help, Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver.
Don't say that. As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like—
You're right. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also—
So, you're one who will try to change—
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take. By the way, Traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just...
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when— Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when— You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the Fortress of Meripede's sluice gate, and this time it was— Indeed. Allow me to share the latest— During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the My people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration.
So that's why the Fatui were already in Poisson.
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine have all been— Linny told me that outside of the house, the person they trust most is you, which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you as such. I'm sure you already understand how earnest—
Oh! That's—
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price. But since the children consider you family—
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to some ruins, right?
Excuse me, but may I tag—
You wish to join, Miss—
But are you sure you're up to exploring some
Well, I'm sad, yes. But there's no point in being depressed besides,
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. All right. The ruins are to the south of Poisson.
Okay, the three of us will...
Take it easy.
So, are they—
They seem to—
Let's go in!
Just be—
Easy.
Gather!
Everyone hold hands!
Busted.
What? The floor here isn't safe!
Solidify!
Gotcha.
This place has also been contaminated by...
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve...
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous and it won't be... don't get Paimon wrong.
No, you're right. That complicates things.
In that case...
I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the...
All right. Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Wait! There's something wrong with this bridge! Run for it!
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by...
Maybe she just...
Yes, it would...
That's quite possible.
Oh. This is a...
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no, I was just trying to recall...
Do you remember, Mr...
We were headed to see...
Ah, right.
Oh, Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How...
I've been great. They were knocking at my door.
Sometimes.
Oh, yes. Miss Navia, these are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know.
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants.
Very well.
Wait. Excuse me.
That's right.
No, it's nothing. And why are there so few people around here?
We must mind the time.
Huh? We do?
Well, now...
Miss Navia, here you are.
My trial?
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just...
Oh?
Look, it's Nav.
And her 2 attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to... Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. And as for the judge...
Please sit in the defendant's seat.
All right.
Typically, it wouldn't...
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on. Do they have...
Enough with...
My dear Miss Navia, as all here know, you, after you took not only you... yes, we are one big... Therefore, this...
Huh?
well...
How...
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I see...
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now.
Stay here, Navia! You're one of...
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to...
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr.
She was born of...
Her actions cannot... Please do not mistake...
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. This, even if Miss everything is... Now, I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay.
And you would call this justice? Have you forgotten how much you...
Do you need... If your justice is...
As you said, we can also have our own justice. And that...
My head.
Demoiselle.
Silver, I remember now. Everything that seemed Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen, and Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid.
Absurd! Who are you to say? Don't let them escape!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses!
He says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be?
What's with these people? Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us!
Miss Navia.
Silence!
That's... Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited. The court will adjourn for the rest of the...
Our thanks.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia.
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your...
Loose.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that this shall be our last goodbye.
Malus. Silver.
Quickly, you...
Goodbye.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When you were just about to be dissolved within, I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment. Were it not for their intervention, I would...
Wait! Did you say Oceanids? You mean like what happened with Vache?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the people you...
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me.
Please come with me.
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right.
Why do you look so stiff? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who feels...
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time...
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then?
Sigewinne. I hope all is well with her these days.
No way! Don't worry. She's doing fine down there. She's...
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that...
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewinne made him do that.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately, and I also...
He still doesn't know what to talk about.
Yeah.
This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the knave, and we had a chat.
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those officials.
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
Oh no, another unstable path. Watch your step. Watch out! There are rocks falling over here!
Busted.
Solidify!
We're almost at the top. Keep it up!
Yeah.
Order guide you. Stabilize.
I see everything.
Things are about to get dicey.
Time to go.
Gather.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place? There should not be any other hidden...
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates. It seems like they were put here as an...
Perhaps we should just leave them be.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate...
The surrounding walls also...
There's something written below. Let Paimon see.
It feels like someone left these slates and these words.
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the...
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated. And there's a whole bunch of other people.
And is that Lady Farina in the 3rd image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
And is that a ring of people around her?
The 4th image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro are... More information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Nervalette.
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just... This says that it's the history... Still...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the 4th, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before...
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the 3rd image. That means that the person in the second image might be the previous Hydro Archon.
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but her appearance here does match the records. The previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the skies.
Did she herself commit that sin? Also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their
But who would have created these slates?
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Farina.
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else.
Yeah, we better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up here.
You still?
Just head back.
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask about this. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my...
Are you really gonna
She has long been harboring secrets, and will not give them up easily. Which makes it all...
Alright, we'll leave it...
I will be carefully considering my work.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house up... Alright.
We're finally back!
Welcome back.
Yay! And there's good food! Paimon's already starting...
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is?
Huh?
It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine?
Mona?
Seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever...
Still, we didn't expect to see you here. Wait.
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadter surname? Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. There was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing. Nope. Although it is used by us.
Wow!
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well. Astromancer, Barbeloth, Trismagi...
Whoa, that's a lot.
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist.
Thrice as great?
I know, right?
Talk about it.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it...
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you, Mona? You're...
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dorman.
Oh, that's a good thing then.
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? I know there's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the invitation was sent quite early on.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist. I'm afraid that this is not something that just any... But on the flip side, the prophecy is so huge and powerful that it must surely come...
A visionary?
Sounds real, of course. The old hag could do it, and I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something similar.
Thanks, Mona.
Oh, well...
That's the greatest of astrologists for...
Indeed.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about.
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving... If Paimon hadn't spoken for you, it'd be... that's more like... I'm still feeling. But it's time to get up.
You're here! It's Monsieur Neuvillette and Lady Farina. They seem to...
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson.
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't know, but... You found them in some ancient ruins, you...
That's correct, which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was missing. The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island in the sky, as if confessing something.
I don't! I've never seen such slate!
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to, or apologize for, a certain sin. If anyone would know about it, it should be you.
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on the sly. This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. But it is strange that you should also claim to not know any of Egeria's secrets, as well as do nothing following your inquiries. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my... Just trust in me. You're Archon, and do as I say. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this... Oh! The opera's...
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling. She didn't...
I assume you've been outside for...
Oh! You noticed!
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached... Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for understanding, so why did she keep... Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue... We may have to create a situation in...
Oh?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the Hydro Archon experience.
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really good at dodging questions. How do we make sure...
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various parties. If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this affair, but... This may be cruel to her, But all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too precious. And so But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
Well, that's everyone. Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently divorced.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the—
That's what family should do.
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about—
Me?
Then, how about you?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the— As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just—
Huh? Didn't—
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss.
In that case, do any of you have experience?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger.
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before.
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as— Though that was their name, they did not hunt at— Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back— A trap comprises of the following components. So, if we were to build a trap together, right now—
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Our line of work requires a deft hand.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you?
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods.
Calm and steady.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion,
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and such. I remember that you liked those.
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve— But I do have one more question for you. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective.
Kind, as always. If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for—
Wait.
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing the—
So are we—
We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves—
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on— But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to—
Oh, so that's what's going on.
Few days has— Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon— It's hard to say. After all, you're the most reliable person. Did you just... Paimon's never seen...
Don't be frightened.
Who's it?
Aw,
Wait. You...
The voice from the sky. You're feeling lost now. Just as you... Consider me a passerby. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied.
What?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Just as prophecies are usually are the things that you shall see.
What is she talking?
I believe that you understand, right? Ultimately.
The voice. Alright, coming! Hey, it's you!
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively band.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. Not all Fontaine.
Did she...
Why, yes. I'm in full support of...
That's right!
Ah, yes. About what... Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots.
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. But I've never met her, and if she were...
Whoa.
Their abilities alone are pretty terrifying.
Well, it's not like Paimon can...
Yes, she was quite cryptic. Perhaps it is something that... Traveler, Paimon?
Oh, we're fine.
I see. I guess you could consider me someone who has but even so, perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but
Huh. You do have a point.
Then it was worth trying to come. I suppose that might be...
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk. Huh? Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the fort. My recent attempts to enter. Thus, did an Outlander friend so while the fortress is journalist Charlotte's biggest. Charlotte took. She hasn't been able to get a hold of any. Seriously? Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried.
1 slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all. Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too?
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes...
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get...
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, No, it's the same for eating in general.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're...
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures... I've got something else to do, so I'll...
And there she goes! Alright, let's dig in. Paimon! It's more delicious. Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious. Oh! We're near the Seabird office!
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Ha! You've got some
Oh, you needn't. It's all right, though.
Really? Oh, Paimon!
Still, what brings...
When Mona mentioned you...
I see. So she mentioned me?
She said that you're...
No.
Huh?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things you've seen and experienced.
Yeah.
Why not? If I say you're worth...
Oh.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! Ooh, so much to get done.
Wait, Charlotte. Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Huh. That's the problem. If you're serious, from what I've seen, most people... So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping it. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still... And then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for print. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. And I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note...
That's... So... Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty... Paimon's been thinking... If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat, that would be... No, We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. You mean, still traveling? Huh. Feels like it'll grow more, but it's still good.
Ah, so the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais
Yes, I'm Isadora. Yes, inside the Opera House.
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it... Lady Farine loudly accused... And before the crowd continued.
So people have...
I agree.
So what happened after...
Seeing that the Marechaussee...
So...
That's right. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is good.
Don't worry, this is...
Is that...
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farine, and as we... When Nervalet was... It would be hard... Paimon thinks Farina's... Well, in that case, there's... This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon... That's Farina, right over there!
Should I just give up? What was meant to happen did happen after all. I'm sorry. I am so... Give up, Farina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry, but what can I even do other than to repeat meaningless apologies? Oh, who's that?
Don't worry, Farina, it's...
So,
Farina, you were crying...
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized... They even dare to tout their Archon! I must... Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marsh Say Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too!
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who... That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up! This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here!
What? Oh,
hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose haste... I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they display.
Yep, that's it.
What's happening?
Yeah,
it can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that.
Yeah, but the people of Poisson... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea, but all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way, and the prophecy shall... Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? But just now, it all became... As long as the final moment has... Don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. Don't take any of what I just said seriously.
Come on! Paimon could have sworn you were actually...
Cher, that's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. And if Tevat is in its entirety, it...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our...
So, this is what it is. Do not forget, however, that I am Focalor, the god of justice.
May I interpret these words as your refusal to stand trial? In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god. I see. It seems like you have made up your...
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses again?
I raised my hands just now to I will admit that I've been... I'm sorry, everyone. You are not the only ones to be disappointed in me. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world this time. Applaud and rejoice. One of the most... Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine!
Woohoo! Oh, no. Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic...
All right, then. Who will be...
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question, just how much work did you do to force me onto this stage?
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were
Navia, the president of the...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and moreover, according to our understanding so, we arranged for
So, you mean...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may...
That's right. That house was a magic...
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson was an Archon. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box...
So, in other words, the Earth...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Clorans, you gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and make all so that as soon as I...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your courage. Only... As for you, traveler, you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrive.
Oh?
It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait, then that means this document? So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, alright?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duels you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. I didn't. This is the first of Fatui Harbor, the fortress of. According to the words of someone as extraordinary, I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervylette. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offense. Of course, it is only natural.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but...
Charge accepted. Lady Farina. Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina...
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon, and see, even the Oratrice has decided to if you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the
An argument with near impossible odds, huh?
Well, I tried to give you the chance. And if I was not the
That doesn't sound... First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could be other ways to extend your life.
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your
You sensed it too, huh, Nervylette?
Lady Farina is actually a human?
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell humans and gods apart.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or...
That doesn't... You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in while the court is in session. The principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges if you continue to withhold vital information against the rules of the court.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the...
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. And it has been operating independently ever since it was first. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no...
My power as an Archon.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the... Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy for their daily life.
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power?
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at... I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? Please. You've got to
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has committed a grave offense.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents?
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be
Wow, she came up with yet another argument! That doesn't... It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea.
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court.
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area, including those of some of my close... So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to...
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basic.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina.
Hey! I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human.
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. That's that she...
Please announce the results of your evaluation to...
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get to...
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare a direct sample of the seawater around Poisson. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an actual human. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked the head nurse... It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used for...
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the Primord? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus. The Hydro Archon, guilty to be punished via the death sentence.
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a...
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice?
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the serious...
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the series.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! You finally made it.
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns to me. I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. But has the trial already concluded? Then...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slate.
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stones. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other three... The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power. Does that mean that Fontanians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon, wasn't it? The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontanians were branded with their original sin. The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea, surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't... Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first.
We know from the case of the serial disappearance and this... Perhaps what is about to take the true sin of the Hydro Archon that nerf and the original sin It's not as the stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in this. The prophecy from the stone slates found the fortress of Mara. If we hadn't dealt...
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea, but won't cease to exist. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Marapi. The prophecy's contents can all be... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now, but then it feels...
Let's hear them.
Incredible! We're not real.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vache dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah! Isn't the image here just like with Navia? So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, however, while you were able to decode all the information on the slate, when we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3, now that the slate collection is complete, I shall... I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves expressed to the Hydro. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not possess the authority, not one to give in. She eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontainian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective positions are, in fact, correct. A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans rather than Oceanids. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial sea. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trial. You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended. Therefore, the meaning of that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the court of justice. Yes, it refers to our...
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even though we decided to put on this trial to avoid in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the 4th slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy about the 4th slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede served as the surest sign that the prophecy was about. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come.
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial.
was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels with primordial seawater.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food.
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, from the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us out like this. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy, all we need to do to stop the prophecy would be to find a way to beat it up, right?
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. Even if the entirety of Tevat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something We've already done everything we can. We've come so far. You can't...
Indeed. That's not how a grand
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes. Just as prophecies are usually only... Ultimately, fate shall serve as...
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just...
You are not Farina.
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a...
Fosolo. Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too. If the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor.
That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria for the uninitiated. She knew full well that the prophecy would sure end as one of the seven. She also knew full well that one defies the... So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled. I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be...
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is after becoming a god. I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first day as a human being. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the... Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone weep in order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled. I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the... I suppose now you probably understand why...
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for...
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an... It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely... Take it easy.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto the stage? Now, I understand you're... All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not... I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Grow!
This is order. Gather!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are—
Be not nervous. Be not afraid.
Wait a moment. You're mirror me?
Mirror
me.
The prophecy.
What prophecy? The people will all be dissolved into the waters.
Oh.
What's going on?
Yes, it will.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die?
Oh, don't worry. I will tell you how to save.
Oh. So as for the suffering, well, I will admit that but if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? If there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side.
I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon.
Play as...
That's right. You must begin. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way.
But how will I do this?
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you remember. Your true challenge will not be
I'm still not. So, how long?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage for but I promise you.
A trial, huh? What should I say? I'm sure you've all heard. In truth, as the god Focalor, once again, think this, I thought I might...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Right. Calm down, Farina. Think. Assertive. With a... Now,
I was wondering if some weak... Well, you may consider my previous act a door... Now then!
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were in...
Personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best, my dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, we have heard it said, the scales of may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our work. There is no, so long as I...
Lady Farina, here are today's case
Come now, was I not just at the Opera House in person? Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette. Besides, none of these trials were the one that I'm looking forward to the most.
If I may be so impertinent, what kind of trial are you truly looking forward to?
A magnificent, dramatic, and wondrous trial. A trial to end all things. How could you hope to understand?
That's true. I fear I lack the ability to grasp your divine thought, Lady Archon.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Long have you stood in line to meet me, have you not? Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine charm. All right, Deoteria, is it? How is your son's illness?
You remembered me, and you knew of my family, too. He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more of an ardent believer than I. He was the one who forced me to seek an audience with you, and to bring your words back to him.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the future, please do not hesitate to come and tell me. Going down to citizens' homes every so often, while not usual practice, should serve as a fine change of pace.
Ah, you're such a gentle and wise god. Thank you once again, on behalf of my son.
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific parameters you asked to take note of, I'm afraid things still don't look good.
I see. It's as I thought then. As your god, I did already expect this, but I wanted to see how far your human wisdom would allow you to analyze it. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass. Forget it. That's not something you need to worry about right now.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is also trying to find a way to counter the rising water levels.
Really? Have they found anything?
afraid that they haven't found any effective solution thus far.
Oh, is that so? Well, no wonder. This issue has reached the realm of the gods, after all. Still, their spirit is praiseworthy. The day is finally over. I haven't had a moment to breathe this whole time. But it's good to see that everything's getting on track. There are no longer any voices of suspicion. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going, and everyone will be saved. Alright, Farina, don't think too hard about this. You need rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as...
There'll be no need for that. I've seen...
Lady Farina, I've...
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen.
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies.
Understood. Keep monitoring. I feel utterly exhausted.
Lady Farina, it's... I've heard that the first member of our family...
And what a fine...
Are you crying?
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god who's...
No wonder. No wonder.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined. Have I? I want to tell someone. I've conducted so many investigations. All I can do is keep heart.
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden, although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fate.
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, just share it with
a witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stars, yes. And if Tevat is in its entirety... She's right. I could confide in her, but if things don't play out as expected... No, Farina. But what if... Farina, you've worked so hard. First, is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? If you let this opportunity slip through your... Think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the full plan?
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the heavenly principles, you must first deceive. She did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, Fontaine would have been doomed. It seems that trusting humanity was the right decision after all.
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the...
Ah, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine.
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core chamber. It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so, wouldn't it? Alas, your understanding of this device still lacks. In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also take down the divine throne upon which she has been placed. I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose while Farina suffered? My work over these last 500 years has been to constantly accumulate indemnitium within the Oratrice. But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction of the energy generated by the device was ever used to provide power to Fontaine. The vast majority had to be accumulated to enact this death sentence.
It was all a part of your plan then? Both the trial and the sentence?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the Hydro Archon's divine throne, shaking the rules established by Celestia.
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor, but for the Hydro Archon. The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must...
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign. And this is the face you make.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very end.
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they not guilty of essentially the same? Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea, and the heavenly principles stole the power you ancient dragons possessed. I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that your original powers should be returned to you? Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing human... So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainians, in other words... Existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, Justice is the continuation, defying the prophecy, and ensuring that Fontaine's people shall live on. That should be the justice, and at this point, we, whether it be myself, or all Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land, when you regain your full power as an elemental sovereign, what verdict shall you pass upon?
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, I see now that that was your at last. I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside them have gradually brought about mutual understanding between us. And I am... You are a devious one, Focalors. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of misdirection?
But since we're all still alive and haven't...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast.
But didn't you say just a moment ago that it can't...
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, I now have the ability to separate the power of the Primordial Sea from that creature. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me mete out justice. The root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast that enacts the prophecy. Its name is the all-devouring narwhal. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come. Find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient dragon. We shall look for an opening. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
I see everything.
Gotcha.
Order guide you. Solidify.
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility, and chance will present itself.
This may hurt a little. Sharing my knowledge.
Higher, hands on fire!
Thingy over there. It looks really scary.
Solidify.
I have granted you my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
This is order. Gather.
Committed to memory.
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an idea. From what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devouring narwhal without using power from beyond this world, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its looks. All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might have missed the point.
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, child's master's master. Wait.
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sertologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then? Have you heard of the name The Fowl?
The Fowl?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir then? Or Gold Rheindotter?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rheindotter's part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from my master. I don't actually know them either, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rheindotter. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Initiate emergency rescue! Hurry! Hey, lend a hand!
Receding!
a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you alright?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong. One climb. The soil renewed. The sweet and deep old soil can still give birth. Skyship Winglet, boon or bane of the various disputes that have arisen on account of myth. People always call the first researcher mad. Wow, Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The value for these big scoops lies in their Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a...
Paimon's curious too.
And that's exactly why I'd like you to come conduct it.
Are you sure?
Oh, this time we'll... Phew!
Oh, it's you.
Hey, we're just having a...
I'm here to update myself on how things...
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snezhevich. Our residents are hard at work.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of you, but if you don't mind...
I get where you're coming from.
That would be fine.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be...
Huh?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson.
Oh, wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions?
Forget it.
I see you're the same.
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you...
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone who wants...
How did it go? Was it a good shot?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the essence when also, not to brag, but I'm...
Wow.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that interview at the...
Whoa, you're well informed. Let me make a guess, too. I asked Sijuin, who told Monsieur Nervillette, and he told you...
That's a...
In truth, all Monsieur Neuvillette asked me, I told him that it was best not to...
You're right. I've got to treasure...
Stay safe now. And tell me...
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgic feeling.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you come up?
Of course. I'm here to welcome you.
It's an honor to finally finally meet—
No need to thank me. But
Of course, of course.
all right then, this way.
Hey, no,
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her—
Sir, please don't.
But it looked—
No, I...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually— The boat that brought— Still, if I might have—
Looks like Chef.
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently in the bowels of our factory. I'm afraid it won't be—
Really? Well, then it—
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or perhaps—
Did you really have to use the— Well, then, 2 solo photos will do.
Is my hair messed up? Please, someone help me have a look.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to—
Ah, see—
Hey, Miss Sure. Sure.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been—
Same old same.
Other than that flying ship.
That's why I decided to let the interview go through.
You're too kind, sir.
I see. Lots of things happened that day, huh? Anyway, regarding that Harbinger, I'm not sure you remember, but his 3 young followers are still
He sure did win them over, huh?
I'll tell them that there's good news and bad news. The good being that their boss seems fine, and the bad being that they must face extended sentences for abetting his escape.
Oh, actually, what—
What change can there be? As to what Miss Farina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll—
Hey, everyone. The photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it—
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go.
There'll be a next time?
Maybe. Who knows? All right. Last stop, the docks. Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with Linny and the others after working together.
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte, too.
Would you like a magic pocket?
What sort of gadget?
It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. The water level has returned to normal, but if you see a
Trick a friend.
You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine?
Is this what you meant?
To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
You sure are working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants to assist in our—
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear as an assistant, and later Fremine himself.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out. Every journey begins with the first step.
Lynette, could you—
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. She got rid of— Father says that you did a great deal.
That's all right. We were more than—
Oh, I get after Lady Farina.
A diplomatic gift? A gnosis?
Yes, I was quite surprised at first myself. But when I thought it over, there were actually a number of things going. It could have been done as an apology for the incident with Lord Child, or as thanks for his help in tying the all-devouring narwhal down. Furthermore, Father did also lend significant aid to Fontaine and Poisson.
That's true, but this is a gnosis we're talking about.
I would agree, but I've also heard that it seems that Monsieur Nervillet has had a significant change of heart regarding the matter.
So there's some reason for this that only Nervillet knows about?
I suspect you'll have to ask him about that yourself.
Isn't he real busy? But back to the topic. The gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Child?
They say that he's returned to Snezhnaya to recover from his wounds. I hear that the recent disaster really did a number on his health.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of run-ins with the...
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Well, well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the Traveler by chance. Please do.
Are you going to take the Gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
That is our duty as harbingers. Yes, don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand goal in switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. Well, as for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision? All right. I'll remember to return it. Thank you for keeping it safe for him this...
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello. If I'm...
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear...
I would...
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled...
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon.
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I guess this must be life. All right, then. We'll be handing out pockets in some other districts later, so...
Well, guess we sent Charlotte off. Shall we go see what Nervalette's doing? Of course.
Take it easy.
The entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! So, you really are here, Nervalette! I didn't think you were going to have free time.
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. In any case, you came at a good time. I was...
Aw, Paimon's glad that you... Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved? The whole business is still quite the...
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it...
Whoa. So that's what happened? Fossilor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you, transforming you into a fool, but Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the Fontanians.
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial, but so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans.
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true while saving everyone. Yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Fossilor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro Archon's wish to turn...
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of the disaster. As for the judgment passed by the Oratree whether it was due to that liability by association, or Focalors deliberately using him to buy
Guess Focalors had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was, hang on a second. Paimon suddenly, back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans, were the children they had also
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come?
Yeah! Lynette said the fountain is where all the water...
In truth, even those couples did not know that such prayers were no mere custom. Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend as new humans.
Paimon sorta gets it.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that. Risley said Farina has already left. What's that all about?
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me, before leaving the Opera House. I related Focalors' words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened nor comforted. She simply said that she was tired and needed to rest. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the Opera House, not unlike how an ordinary person might.
But she's still got a place to stay, right?
You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing, board, or travel. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear on her spirit will, of course, take time to heal, but now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalors the Hydro Archon, she can finally lay down her burdens and lead a normal life.
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full...
After Focalors passed on, the Oratrice also ceased to function. This matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on...
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the perspective of the Udex.
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty, in a manner of speaking, you could say that both were granted. As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest judge. The duty of the Hydro Sovereign and the duty... Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera...
That's true. That power was derived from the people's faith in the Hydro Archon, wasn't it? Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city are all still okay?
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a
Wow. This ancient dragon's authority stuff is really...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Oh, that's right! They say you've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift.
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much for us during this crisis. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more, and I do not need the Gnosis's power. As such, it has lost all meaning for Fontaine. If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations. Paimon thought you were just giving it to them out of gratitude to the knave and as an apology to Child.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons? You mean like you?
No, I suspect that I would not find myself welcome there. Unlike ancient dragons such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of development and evolution. Large numbers of them have entered a form of coexistence with humanity. Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave that I believe may be useful to you. The harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring of war.
The Captain. Sounds like a real tough customer. Seriously, everywhere you look, there's a Fatui Harbinger doing their...
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will always be open to you. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. Paimon's still got a question about the Gnosis. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away the Gnosis had clearly changed. We guessed that there might be some reason for it that only you were aware.
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. They are certainly sharp. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting ready to share something with you. In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on. You...
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting any interference. I can finally catch the scent of your power, what it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse mixed in. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what you speak of.
Of course. How could I forget? You should have the remains of the third descender on your person, yes?
Remains? I've never heard of any such thing.
According to your parlance, I believe it may be called a gnosis.
Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me. But I fear I have never heard of it described in the manner that you just did.
I've been training with my master, the Foul, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. So most of the information I possess, I got from him. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense, which is why there are so many problems in our attempts to communicate with humans. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune to prevent any disasters from befalling you. To live in itself is a blessing. But once a person dies, the bonds he once had with this world shall...
What do you mean by that?
No need to fret. These are just my personal thoughts, and my reason for no longer wishing to return to the surface.
This third descender you refer to, who are they? And when did they die?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that important for me to know. If you're interested, though, I could ask him. I'll be sure to pass the answer on to you next time.
Next time? You believe we will meet again?
I do. Wait. I have a disciple of my own, don't I? He can be the messenger then.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove...
The remains of the... So that's what the Gnosis actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could...
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special metaphor at play.
And she said that it would bring misfortune and that you should...
If she speaks the truth, then I would simply be putting Fontaine at unnecessary... I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept, but I did not expect you to be one of them. That means that the Gnosis, which are exceedingly element-compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities, do indeed come from the third descender. I wonder, does your body also possess similar properties?
Like being able to use elemental powers without a vision! That does sort of count as special compatibility, right? No, let's not think about this stuff right now. It just feels... comparing the Traveler to the dead third descender and all. That's what you say, but this topic still feels like bad luck. Once Child recovers, let's get some more answers out of him. Or go look for his master and get the answers that way.
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind guesses when information is lacking.
Alright. Whatever the case, it's...
Yes. All of Focalor's efforts were for this moment as well.
But she sacrificed herself in the end as a god, and she suffered through all those years as a human. Was that really what she wanted?
I suppose that would be the mystery of a god's will. I suspect not. But once in a while I too would guess that if wishes were like the clouds in the sky, they will one day return to the earth as raindrops. Life flows like water, and rain is the final answer. The water levels may sometimes tilt, and what ultimately is the difference between the rain...